So what do you think of the conference so far?
It's pretty good. I'm really enjoying the sessions. Most of them make sense to what we do in the office, but there's a few that are a bit weird.
Yeah, like what?
Well, I just think that they're very skewed towards more of an American feel of what we use versus what we use in Canada. I think it's just, I'm taking what I can, but I think that there's definitely room that we need to talk about some things that we could change for our systems.
Well, I'm glad you got to come to this with me because I'm really glad we get a chance to spend some time together and to, take home some of these learnings from the session.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been great. I really enjoy the learning.
Good.
And the professional development and networking. That social last night was pretty fun.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you, though. I'm glad we had a chance to sit down for a few minutes because I really wanted to chat with you about something that's been sort of on my mind and been bothering me a little bit. And I thought this might be a good opportunity for us to chat.
Okay.
So that change that we've made recently, and we've had some sessions over the last couple months, and about 2 months ago when we rolled it out, we had a couple of meetings where I was really clear with staff. At least I thought I was clear with staff about what are the roles and responsibilities that everybody would share as we implement this change. And I'm finding that things just don't seem to be happening. But I haven't heard anything from anybody. Like nobody's come to me to say why it's not happening, but I'm obviously really concerned that things aren't going the way that I had thought they would.
Yeah, it's been difficult.
Okay, difficult how?
Well, it's a big change for us as staff.
Okay.
So it's a lot to take in a short amount of time.
Yeah. And do you think it's just the change that's the problem? Like, is it just people just don't want to do this?
I don't think it's the change. I think that we're open to some change, but I don't.
But you know how important this change is. Like this, if we don't do this, we're all in trouble. Like the budgets dictate that we have to make this change. So what do we have to do to make this happen? Like,
I think, do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah, of course I want your honest opinion.
Okay. I think there should have been a bit more discussion up front with the staff because it affects us in our jobs, and we're very passionate about helping students and really working with them, and this changes how we do this. So I wonder if perhaps there could have been a bit more discussion around how the change was going to affect what we do on a day-to-day basis. We can see why the change is necessary. We just really believe, well, I really believe, I shouldn't be speaking for everybody, but feel that we weren't really consulted in any way, and that the implementation wasn't really thought out because there's no plan as to how to do it. It was just do it.
Amy, come on. That is just not true. We've been talking about this stuff for like a year now.
Sam, you know this about, you know that you're not always great at communicating. We had 2 meetings 2 months ago, and you really needed to provide more communication to us about how this was going to happen. We knew it needed to, but you needed to explain more how.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't appreciate you telling me how to do my job. Second of all, we were really clear about everybody's expectations and responsibilities in this project 2 months ago. It's been 2 months, and frankly, I haven't heard anything from anybody else. The only person who's brought things to my attention or has been complaining has been you. So look, I know we've been working together a long time, so you've got to tell me, like, what's going on here?
I think that for a lot of the staff, we really would have appreciated a bit more input. So to be able to sit down and talk to you to say, yes, the change is going to happen, and we recognize that. But here are a few things that we think need to be involved in that change. this is such a radical difference from the way that we used to do things and work with students. We had expertise in specific areas, awards, registration, billing, and now we're all expected to be experts in all of those areas, and that I think is terrifying to a lot of people.
Okay, so you're saying we need better training on the actual stuff.
Yeah, and a bit more communication, because I know you well enough to know that I don't think you expect us all to be experts in all those areas.
Right, no,
but
of course not.
it would have been really nice for you to say to the whole staff, you will learn these things as we go, and it's okay if you don't know everything right up front.
Okay, I thought I had done that, but maybe I wasn't clear enough in what I was
Sometimes
saying.
you're not the most clear when it comes to things. You get so excited about the project, and that's why you're a great manager. But sometimes it's the details. You just miss that, and it's how it's going to affect the day-to-day of your staff that you just don't see.
So going forward then, can I count on you to give me some of those details? Like, I obviously need to know. No one else seems to be willing to speak up. You know, you've been here a long time. You've got lots of knowledge and expertise around the systems and around the processes. So, you know, how can I involve you more then in helping with this implementation?
I think that could work. I have a great relationship with the other women that we work with, so it would be wonderful if we could even have a weekly or monthly team meeting for all of us together, but then if you and I wanted to meet more regularly to just talk about how those details are going to happen, so that when we feel like we're maybe not being communicated enough with as a team, I can get those details and communicate for you, because I know that you're not necessarily that detail person.
Okay, but I also want to make sure that this stuff starts happening. We can't talk it to death, right?
No.
So I don't want to get mired in meetings and more talking about it. So I want to know, how can we get this thing going now?
I think by taking the first step of just sitting everyone, I know you don't want to do another meeting, but sitting down with everyone just to say, I know you're concerned, let me just listen to you for an hour or two, could be longer because they're pretty mad, and really allow them to explain to you why they're frustrated. And then once they feel heard, I really do think that they're going to want to really implement this, because at the end of the day, we see what the value is. We see why it's going to be good for students and why it's going to be better for us as a staff to be more cross-trained and just to be better equipped to do things together.
All right, well, when we get back, let's make it happen, okay?
I'm really glad we had this time to talk, but I just need to go back to something you just said during this conversation, which was, I shouldn't be telling you how to do your job. I feel that sometimes you can get a little defensive about things, and I was really worried to approach you about this discussion because I thought you might react that way, and then you did. And it makes me fearful that going forward, I can't bring these things to you, which is why I didn't sit down and have a really honest conversation about it. I dropped comments here and there and just offhandedly said things, but it makes me a bit nervous going forward that I won't be able to be as honest with you as I really think that our relationship in the workplace would allow me to do.
It's a non-starter. We have to do this. So if I come across that way, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess from my perspective, sometimes I feel like you and the other, and I'll just be very candid with you, you and the other team members, you know, I'll put something in place and I'll give what I think are very clear instructions, and then it doesn't happen. So, you know, sometimes I feel like you're just not hearing me, or you're not listening, and you're not doing what I'm asking to be done. So, yeah, you know, the way that came out was probably not good, so I apologize.
I need you to know that we do respect you, especially in your vision. We get that you're a visionary and you're a great leader in that sense. We know you're going to get us to the next step so that we can continue to succeed as a team.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes it's how we implement those things, and the way that you sometimes speak to us is that you're very quick, you're very you're short sometimes because you know what needs to be said and you just say it. And I think that if you could just take a few minutes as the manager and think about how your staff needs to hear certain things. That would be really helpful. This has been great for me, but everyone back in the office needs to feel heard as well, and not just about this, but other things. And they need to know your door is always open for them to come and talk to you, which is probably why they haven't spoken to you before. They're a bit nervous about how you might react. So I'm really glad you heard what I was saying, and I really look forward to the changes happening in the future.